In continuation of the last video on mechanism of organic reactions, obviously part 1 organic chemistry, in this video first we'll take up elimination reaction. Those reactions in which two or more substituents are removed from saturated hydrocarbon to form unsaturated hydrocarbon are known as elimination reaction. A small molecule like H2, HX, X2, H2O or NH3 is eliminated from the two adjacent carbon atoms. The two sigma bonds break to form one pi bond. Acid catalyzed dehydration of alcohols, dehydrogenation of alkanes are examples of such type of reactions. For example, in this molecule, elimination of XY takes place and an unsaturated compound is formed. If we see the example for by reaction of concentrated H2SO4 on alcohol at 170 degrees centigrade, we see that the alcohol eliminates a water molecule and gets converted to ethene. Elimination reactions are of two types, E2 reaction and E1 reaction. E2 reactions are bimolecular elimination reaction. It completes in one step. The base pulls out a proton from beta carbon atom. Simultaneously, a halide ion leaves and the double bond is formed. In this, the sodium ion abstracts hydrogen from the methyl group. The bromine leaves as the bromide and the resulting product is propene, NaBr and C2H5OH. If we consider the mechanism, then we see that this ethoxide ion forms a partial bond with the hydrogen of this methyl group, and the bond between the CH and this bromine is on the verge of breaking and in transition complex is formed. After this transition complex is formed, bromide is released and this ethoxide ion abstracts the hydrogen, yielding C2H5OH and propene is formed. The second is E1 reaction. E1 reaction is unimolecular elimination reaction. This reaction completes in two steps. In the first step, hydrolysis of substrate takes place and the result is carbocation and halide ion is in the slow step. In this, the bond between the carbon and the bromine shift to the bromine, yielding bromide ion and the carbocation ion. In this carbocation, elimination of the proton takes place and the bond between this carbon and hydrogen shifts between carbon and carbon, yielding an alkene. Then we come to next type of reactions, that is rearrangement reactions. In such reactions, an atom or a group of atom or double bond migrates from one position to another position within the same molecule. Such reactions are called rearrangement reaction. If we see in this molecule, the rearrangement takes place and the X which was first bonded to A gets bonded to B and the Y which was bonded to B gets bonded to A, and thus a rearranged molecule is formed. In the second example, in this molecule by rearrangement, the double bond which was between B and C gets migrated between A and B. For example, butane is converted into isobutane in the presence of AlCl3. Phenyl hydroxylamine gets rearranged into para-aminophenol. Ammonium cyanate on heating undergoes rearrangement to give urea. And we see that the sodium phenyl carbonate undergoes rearrangement to give rise to sodium salicylate. Next we come to the topic of reactive intermediates. In this video we will study carbon-free radical. Carbon-free radical is an atom or group of atoms possessing an odd or unpaired electron. It is electrically neutral and shows paramagnetism. Free radicals are formed by homolytic fission of a covalent bond. For example, chlorine free radicals are formed by the homolytic fission of chlorine. In this chlorine, the bond between these two chlorine atoms undergoes homolytic fission and gives two chlorine radicals. Thus, free radicals formed are more reactive than atomic species. If we take the example of methane reacting with chlorine, then we see that in the first reaction, chlorine splits to give chlorine free radical, and then this chlorine free radical reacts with methane, giving rise to CH3Cl and HCl. The carbon free radicals are classified into three groups. Primary free radical. If unpaired electron is present on the primary carbon atom, it is termed as primary free radical. For example, ethyl free radical. Secondary free radical. If unpaired electron is present on secondary carbon atom, it is known as secondary free radical. For example, isopropyl free radical. Tertiary free radical. If unpaired electron is present on tertiary carbon atom, it is termed as tertiary free radical. For example, tert-butyl free radical. Now we come to the orbital structure of alkyl of the free radical. In alkyl free radicals, the carbon atom having unpaired electrons are in the sp2 hybridized state. The sp2 hybrid orbitals form 3 sigma bonds, and one hybridized pz orbital which is parallel to the plane has one unpaired electron. So this carbon which is having positive charge, this carbon which has one unpaired electron is in sp2 hybridized state. It forms 3 sigma bond with 3 alkyl groups, and this unpaired unhybridized pz orbital contains one electron. If we consider the stability of free radicals, then the stability of free radicals can be explained by the phenomenon of delocalization. During hyperconjugation, unpaired electrons of pz orbital overlaps with sigma orbitals of alkyl groups, and delocalization of unpaired electron takes place. In tertiary free radical, carbon atom having unpaired electron has 3 alkyl groups. So maximum delocalization of unpaired electron takes place by hyperconjugation. Hence, more the alkyl groups on the carbon atom bearing the unpaired electron, more will be the hyperconjugation, more the hyperconjugative structure, thus higher the stability. Secondly, along with hyperconjugation, the delocalization of unpaired electrons can be explained by conjugation. Stability of allylic and benzylic free radical is explained by pi sigma conjugation. For example, in this allylic free radical, the double bond is between CH2 and CH, and then this CH2 has free radical. The free radical shifts between this CH and CH2, and one electron from this by the homolytic fission also joins this carbon electron, forming a double bond between here and this CH. This electron by homolytic fission gets one electron here. So the migration of double bond takes place, and we have two conjugative or two resonant structures. If we consider the benzylic free radical, then we see that in this benzylic free radical, the free electron pair comes between carbon and this carbon, and the homolytic fission of the bond between this carbon and this carbon gives rise to this structure, and then again the migration of the electron takes place, and simultaneously one by one all these structures are obtained. Finally, this free radical is obtained which was in the beginning, but here we can see that the position of the double bond is different, and here the position of double bond is different. So as the number of resonance number is different and the resonating structure is more, it has high stability. That's all for today. Thank you.